Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It is Angelic Ray coming to you at Angelic Soul 11, and this is a very controversial type of live that I'm kind of doing here right now. I am going to keep it really short because I really do want to get this message out here. So, first and foremost, I recently did the live for the new moon in Capricorn. And in that live, I mentioned with Geminis being in the eighth house and how Gemini is the collective north node of Earth, right? Our new north node, right, for the collective. And so, that being said, collectively, whether we are Gemini or not, we were going to be under this influence in some way, shape, or form. And part of the eighth house is sex magic, right? Or bondage in ways. And while I did mention like they'll have a sex drive, I also mentioned to watch out for pedophilia. And I've really asked you all to really use your discernment and pay attention to how sex trafficking can be. And this happens in many, many different ways. So, a lot of us, we kind of know sex trafficking as only them kidnapping or luring even adults. So that they can put them under the sex trade, right? For sale. Now, one thing that a lot of us in the collective fail to realize is there's many different ways of doing rituals and sex magic or any type of magic for that matter. But we're speaking specifically on the sex magic right now and pedophilia. And this really came to my attention yesterday, and it was so mind-boggling because I literally spoke about this during the new moon, and unfortunately, I gave the information out to you, right? Unfortunately, I can't give everyone the eyes to see, right? So I can only be the messenger. And by being the messenger, I wanted to express to you all like how everybody gets so excited when they hear about sex magic and it's Fridays and yada yada yada. But let's listen to what's important in this message right now, right? And this is about a challenge that is going on in social media to collectively collect photos of your children, your innocent young children who aren't even consenting to you posting these pictures, more than likely. Okay? Now, once you post a picture in any social media platform, especially Facebook or Instagram, right? You no longer own those photos yourself. They become public domain to Facebook and Instagram to keep those photos. Right? You give them the permission to go into your camera roll. You give them the permission to have access to your photos and to use, right? There's so many different terms and conditions that many people do not read. They just agree to contract. They agree to terms and conditions and they, accept the terms and boom, they log in, they sign up. And now they're on social media, right? And so whether you choose to read those terms and conditions or not, does not mean that they are not telling you that they have access to these photos now. That these photos, the moment you publish them or post them, are no longer private and yours, but now also belong to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, right? So when you participate in these challenges, you are also saying, I willingly allow you to see into this photo, right? To do what you will with this photo, because I now put it out there with the public. You may not consciously be saying that, but subconsciously, because there's terms and conditions, right? And we just go and we post these photos and stuff, right? Subconsciously, you're saying, well, I willingly put this photo out there so that you can see these pictures. And what you do with them is what you do with them, right? So what's happening is there's a bit less more Amber Alerts right now. And there is a major, major, major increase in the son-daughter challenge photo. Again, collectively, the North Node is in Gemini, and Gemini is in the 8th house. I've mentioned this to you. There's many different ways they can literally take these photos, and in fact, 9 out of 10 times, the way that pedophiles tend to get caught is that they have photos that they use to masturbate to, which is a form of sex magic, or that they encrypt in other photos and they sell out. So they are collecting an abundance of photos for their agenda right now. And the same way I ask the collective to please pay attention and look out for your neighbors and be aware of the surroundings is the same way that I am accountable for doing that same thing. And being a messenger and saying that, you know what, it's my suggestion. You do what you will. But it is my suggestion that unless your child is of age 18 and older, 21 and older, and giving you permission, giving you the consent to post their pictures, that you just kind of fall back and chill from posting your children. It's not really nobody's business. This is adult social media. You have to be 18 and older to actually even, create a social media account. And that's with purpose. The thing is, a lot of us are allowing our children that's minors to get on these because we're adults and we're having a good time with this. And we don't realize that when it comes down to the social distancing, they're trying to teach us how socializing isn't only physical, how our being is not only physical. We are more than the physical. And in fact, physically, right, the humans, we need to socialize, right? We need to socialize so that we can function well. You may not be physically socializing, but if you have social media, you're still being social somewhere, some form. So psychologically, you're still okay. The mind does not know the difference. The mind does not know the difference. So the energy within one that resides in a being is being manipulated as if they are socializing with others and able to function in just the same manner. The same goes with these rituals. The mind does not know that the person has a great imagination and they have these photos. It does not know that they are not literally connecting with these children. It just has the experience of connecting with these children. Now they're energetically latching onto these children. They are energetically feeding from those photos, feeding like vampires, disgusting beings, from the life source of your children. So I ask you to please be mindful when you see these challenges. Where are they coming from? What is their purpose? Look at the timing of these challenges. What do they mean? And straight up, you know what? At some point, you have to say, it's not nobody's business to, they want to see my child, let them call me personally. Right? That's why it's called, there's privacy, right? There's terms, there's conditions, there's privacy acts, and all of this. And so it is extremely important to protect. Again, that was also what I mentioned in the collective reading, was nurturing and protecting, right, our women and our children, right? And that there was going to be a big thing with men. I'm not going to get too much into the man part, but my whole point is that if you start seeing a trend happening, before you just jump on the wagon, right? Ask yourself, what is this purpose? Is this serving me? What are they going to do with this? Why do they need pictures of my son or my daughter? And everyone gets so excited in their ego for attention and celebrating, and I get it. That also does bring a focus to their energy, right? But you don't have control. You only have control over what it is that you do. You do not have control over what other people do. So while you may think that other people are going to praise your children for being beautiful or for being in existence, other people may be using your photos, your children's photos, who are minors and underage and not even fully consenting, right? But they have their parents' consent. So there is a consent going on. And a lot of the times how they would do these things was parents would, sell their children, whether it was through photos or they will, and you're selling your children and you don't even know it. The power is in the mind. And whether you choose to consciously see the agenda or not, they do not care. As long as you give a consent. When you post those pictures, they're no longer just yours, and you consent to Facebook and Instagram to use your pictures. Who is behind Facebook and Instagram? Who are behind these social medias? And if you don't know those answers, then you need to start researching so that you can learn. And what are these people known for? And who do they support? Because the same way we use these social medias as platforms for selling, right, for networking, for business, what makes you think that they do not take these photos for that same reason? Oh, it's time to network. Let's see how many of these babies we could collect, right? And get the highest bid. It works in just the same way. And this is why the whole corona thing happened, to start a revolution of awakening you to knowing that you are more than just a human body, okay? And that there is a lot going on. And a lot of these politicians, let's not even talk about they're all fucking pedophiles in their own ways, right? And so just be mindful. That was the message. As stated, I wanted to be really sure. I thank you all for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, please go back to the beginning. I did mention about how I put this on the collective new moon in Capricorn reading, and how it's collectively affecting everyone, and what my suggestions are, especially if you have children or you've been participating in these challenges. And unfortunately, even if you delete these photos, you've already given them permission to those photos, so they still have access to them. They still have them. They have them in the archives, so there's not really much you can do about that. You may not see it in your social media anymore, but it doesn't mean that they don't have it. And so that's something to really think about moving forward in 2021. Do you want to continue to just keep posting your children out there? Or do you want to really truly protect your children? Do you really want to truly protect their energy, protect your lineage, protect your family, protect the energy, right? So think about it. Share this video if you feel like it's going to be helpful, or send it directly to someone who you know might, put out pictures of their children out there constantly, right? This is not to fearmonger, but this is something to be mindful of and to consider, right, into the psyche, right? So please share this information, because this is really important right now. And this is, our future generations are the children. Us as adults, we have a responsibility to protect the children. Us as adults, we have a responsibility to really guide our children and know what we're exposing them to. And the market, right? If you think about this as like a trading game, right? For those of you that's into like finances or anything like that, just any type of market networking business, right? If you know how that works, even as a consumer, right? You know that anything kind of goes on the internet. People post whatever they want to post. And so you may not physically allow your 3-year-old or your 2-year-old or your 1-year-old, right? To get on social media, or you may, right? And that's the type of exposure that they're getting at that age. And it affects the psyche. It creates an energetic tether that brings them into a certain space and alignment and frequency. And I cannot stress it enough how this is something that we must be more conscious of. We're adults. There's no excuses now. Be an adult. If you want to share your business, you share your business. But you don't got to go sharing your children's business. You really don't. I get it. You want to share how your children look. You want to share your birth. Those are very intimate things, and I get it. I truly get it. There's time and a place for everything. So that is the morning Friday message, right? For Sex Magic, right? This is how we're getting into this Friday Sex Magic. I'm being very real, because there's polarities to everything, and it's not always just like, oh, let's get that pussy power magic going, to manifest our dreams. Yeah. But that's what they're doing. And it's not only men that masturbate to these children. Some women use their pussy power to your children to manifest their shit, their agenda. So please just be aware. Be aware. And if you are going to post your children's pictures anyways, because you're like, this bitch is crazy or whatever the fuck, or such a conspiracy theorist or whatever, then I hope you're really truly protecting your children energetically, physically, right? Because you're exposing them. And that's that. Whether you like it or not, the truth is the truth. So I thank you all. If you're just tuning in, go back to the beginning. Peace, y'all.